emergency preparedness kit that I took with me because it's like, you know, you need to plan, prepare, strategize. So being proactive. And part of being proactive is the language that you use to speak to yourself. I choose. I decide. I am responding, not reacting. So as you go through the program, see if you can frame your decisions in that language. I'm choosing to eat this. I'm choosing to take a rest day. I'm choosing to read my lesson today, or not. And I was just saying to someone earlier, in lean eating, we don't talk about good foods, bad foods. Okay, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. We don't talk about I was bad, or I was good, or, you know, you should do this, or you shouldn't do this. There's no right. There's no wrong. There are only consequences. And you are accountable to you. You are the boss of you, okay? Your body is the boss. So if you eat something and you feel like crap, we're not mad at you. Your body is mad at you, perhaps, okay? Your body is the ultimate authority. So you're accountable to you. Now, for the next little while, we're giving you structure, right? We're helping you be accountable. But ultimately, this isn't about but then you'll be okay with not being tolerant. That's the thing. We'll have you come to terms with that. But this is really about giving you guys a set of techniques, not rules, but a set of tools and techniques that you can lean eating-ize your finances. I actually had a former lean eater, who was a financial planner, come to my house and talk to me about my finances. And awesome. she was like, well, why are you doing this? And I was like, well, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, why is that important? She gave me the 5 whys. She gave me one habit at a time. She gave me the opposite day, and I was like, why did I not think of this? Right? It works for everything. So that's. I'm so glad you brought that up. One more deeper reason. Someone else want to share their deeper reason for being here? Yes?
Well, I've just struggled so much with this, you know, whole thing about body image and weight, that I really feel like if I can get to a place where I'm just thinking positive.
Get in, right? And I was like, oh, I love food. Couldn't possibly eat less. Well, I didn't love food because I was hoovering it, right? Eat slowly. It's so powerful. The second one, 80% full. God, I hate this one. 80% full. It's so hard. Many of you will have to learn to eat to 120% full first, because you're right now eating to 150. You may have to, I mean, I had to, right? Excuse me for 1 second, I'm just going to hack up a lung. Think about the difficulty of eating slowly. So I'd like to hear your strategies for eating slowly and eating to 80% full. Take a second and think, what are your strategies?
And all the books and found my table again. I put the radio on, and then I felt like I was still, like I could pay attention to the news, but pay attention to my food.
I like that.
And that slowed me down significantly. Like, it's not hard, you know, high BPM radio. I'm listening to Radio Canada. So you know, I sit there, I listen, and that forced me to slow down. That and putting all the magazines and the books away. Nice. All right. Other strategies? Yes.
Oh,
yep.
One way is I know I don't need to drink anything while I'm eating.
All right. Good one. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is what you're looking for, but it's a visualization of the actual lessons for me. It's the repetitive nature of the information. If you were to put it on for 1 week and say, no, for the next 2 months I want you to remember this, it's gone. So in my busy day, when I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to do, I have the visualization of that nice little tidy thing there that tells me about my habits. And it's a snapshot for me to remember to take the fish oil, to take my multivitamin, to do this, to do that. Now those ones are fading, but I see those new habits are darker. So it's actually the visualization of the lesson itself.
And just so you guys know, I follow lean eating along with you. More so this year because I'm not competing in anything, and I'm trying to learn how to be a normal human being. And it's been challenging. So lean eating is my anchor also, and from an experience base, my experience in lean eating is uniquely different now, 13 years of competing in something to trying to be a normal human being. So I had an aha moment midweek of the protein habit. I dropped about 3 pounds overnight. Yes, I'm not a number, but results are motivating. Yin, yang, grab, go, what? Works for me, like it, go with it. And I realized it's because I allowed myself to get hungry last night. Slower eating, mindful eating, 80% full, protein habit, the magic's starting to happen. And it was a good lesson for you guys, for my team, that when you are challenged, when it is difficult, you are about to embark on something rewarding. You are about to be rewarded. But it's that happy medium. So you guys talk about these strategies. It's like, how much can I nudge? What can I play with the right attitude and the right awareness to get my body into a place where it's going to give back to me? So I had to get a little hungry, had a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit moody, and then lo and behold, the body says, thank you, right? I got a rest last night. I didn't have to digest that protein that you ate at 8 o'clock at night. Thank you. I didn't have to work hard to process that food that you ate to 95% full instead of 80. Thank you. You gave me a rest. Just so you know, that's what a PhD will get you.
Yeah. We're also good with fist bumping. Fist bumping is usually 100%.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm working on the.
You just want to avoid the awkwardness, of course, of the trailer hitch. It's a tough one. It's a game of chicken. I do better with questions. So I just want to hear where you guys are, what your questions are. Let's take it from there. Give me some exercise questions.
Okay, the isometric holds.
Yeah, isometric holds.
Okay, the one where I've got like one leg up and one leg on the ground, I've kind of figured out like what that's for.
Okay.
The
What is it for?
It's to improve balance and just to, as far as I know, it's just to teach me to hold the position even when it hurts.
Okay.
Now, the hold where you're hanging on to something
Yeah.
up above, what is that for?
What is that for? What is this stuff for?
Could you please explain that?
Okay, and everybody knows what we're talking about, right? These two movements. So we've got a rear elevated iso hold, and our scap depression. What do we call this? Straight arm.
It was like an isometric
Yeah.
overhead hold
Okay.
or something.
So here's the thing. What are we doing with this stuff? We're trying to get your body in a position. It's sort of an end position, and we're spending some quality time there. We're hanging out, and we're getting a feel for what it's like. A lot of times, a squat's a good example. Not that I think anyone's doing like well, we've got the later people doing front squats at this point, but if we think of a conventional barbell back squat, if you've ever watched this transpire in the gym, people go on, they throw a ton of weight, usually a guy, right? Throws a ton of weight on the bar, okay, steps out, totally good, gets about halfway down, and then does not complete it. Okay, the hard part is not standing up at the bar. The hard part is not the top of the movement. The real money
Stuff that you're doing down the line, and you're going to say, oh yeah, that's why we did that, and now I get it. And yeah.
That's good. There is a tendency in our culture to be in a huge hurry to be an expert, okay? To just want to do the advanced stuff, and that's really the opposite of what the lean eating program is from a nutritional perspective and from a movement perspective. So when I came in, trust me, if we wanted to crush you guys with exercise, it's not that hard to make it insanely difficult from an exercise perspective. Okay, everybody, burpees till you throw up. Maybe it'll take a half hour. We'll get you there. We will get you nauseous. That's not the hard part. The hard part is creating a foundation of movement, of learning how we're going to take one thing and developing proficiency with something that takes, I think everyone at this point has gone through at least one or two movements where you've said, this is too easy, this can't be, I don't understand. And you've had a moment and kind of said, well, maybe I should try to find out what I can make difficult about this. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. And you explore it a little bit. And all of a sudden, when you start worrying about really doing it well, it gets really hard. And we want to take that and we want to develop that movement competency, even at such a simple level, because we're going to be able to apply it at a much higher intensity down the road. I'm still waiting, on what that is. Again, how do we integrate this into other stuff to put it to work? That's important. But there's no real reason, there's no real benefit we get out of that. If your abs are in there, if you can't see them yet, continue eating well. Right? Ms. Schaus.
I wanted to contribute here. You guys know when you're doing that kneeling, half kneel, whatever,
Yeah.
right? There's so much in your program where you are working your abs. Trust me. Like right now, I'm working my abs a heck of a lot more than if I laid down and did a bunch of crunches. I actually could be thankful for some tight psoas, hip flexors, which we all have. Half kneeling this. ISO, split squat, hold. Okay? You don't know you're working your abs, but you are. You're not really working your abs, you're working a whole bunch of stuff that goes on from the inside. So we're strengthening you, when I say it's an inside-out transformation, we're working on that inside. So I promise you, you're probably doing more abs and core than you ever did before. Because what you were really doing was just strengthening your hip flexors, which are already tight from being in a seated position at your desk all day.
I believe it. And let me be clear, I do not want abs.
Car?
Feeding the baby.
Okay? Why would we want to do more this,
Mm-hmm.
unless we want it to look like Gollum, which, you know, no judging, but not that, you know. So this is one problem with the crunchy kind of abby exercises. But here's the other problem. Let's say I do anything. Let's say I'm a parent, I have a little kid, okay? So here I am, kid's about to run across the street. Oh shit, grab the kid, you know, pull the kid up, oh, another kid's wiggling, you're like, oh, no, it's okay, you know. What muscle did I just use there? Everything, right? That's life. That's reality. We're not training you to be a crunch monster. Right? We're training you for life, for reality. And one of the key points that Geoff's making, in case it's not coming out clearly, I just want to sort of be explicit. We don't train muscles. We train movements, okay? So everything is involved in movements. Your body is not a filer, okay? It's a real synthetic thinker. It integrates. So I'm going to use whatever I need to get that job done. Crunches aren't going to help me grab my kid. They're not going to help me carry the groceries, okay? Movements, not muscles. That should be your, and that's how Geoff has set up the workout program. So,
Love it, Geoff. Good job, Geoff.
good job, Geoff. Yes.
In the first few weeks,
Because of where the weight is, when this winds up being stacked, when we're eventually moving on to a barbell variation, like with most barbell stuff, we're trying to keep that bar as close to our center of gravity, or center of mass, as possible, and that won't deviate. But in this case, because it's I'll counterbalance a little bit. So I've got a slight bend in my knees, and that's all. I'm going to move my hips backwards, and I'm going to continue moving my hips backwards until I can go no further. And now you may find that because of a stretch, because of a mobility thing, but we want to just make sure that there's been no change in my back alignment. So this is how far I should go. I'm going to press away from the ground. I'm really going to squeeze my glutes. At the top, I'm going to work on pulling those shoulder blades back. It's always easier to get your posture set at the top, and we're going to do our best to hang on to it as we move. Now, there are a few things I can do to make this go wrong. One is I can continue to move. After my hips have stopped, I can continue to go down. So where's the movement coming from now? From my back. That's not doing me any favors. Okay, so once again, as soon as these guys stop, I'll go. The other common compensation we'll see is people moving a little bit and then turning it into a squat. Once again, we've already got a squat pattern. We're really working. You can think of it as two ways. In a squat pattern, we're really bringing our bum to the ground. Okay? In a hip hinge pattern, if I imagine the wall behind me here, or the fence in this case, I'm trying to bring my bum backwards to there. So I'm not trying to get a change in height or angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.